What's going on, everybody? I'm out here scouting a different piece of this public that I've been scouting. I've been doing different sections, and obviously if you guys saw the last video, I was at a section that I was checking out, just checking up on, that Dawson and I had hunted on, and I came to a different piece of the same big chunk of public. I've never been to this particular spot. It's not too far from the road. I saw it, I wanted to check it out because it has a nice wooded section tucked back in a bunch of private ag fields, and the woods line, the wood chunks here, there's a creek bottom, there's a stream that runs through, and I wanted to check it out because I figured you got big ag fields. The field that I walked in along is tall grass, and there's a bunch of trails leading out from this woods to that tall grass, and I'm standing on one right now, and you can see, I'll flip this around, I got a trail going right there, leads up to the field. I know it's hard to see, but there's a trail that comes out right here and goes up through there out to the field, and I'm standing on one that meets this trail here that goes out to that field, and they lead back all the way into this thick stuff. So that's where I'm headed. I'm gonna go back. I want to check it out because I know bucks like to cruise these creek bottom areas, especially since I got these ag fields back here, this tall grass field up here, and I don't usually see too many people around this area. If they are, they're hunting the bigger chunk of public, but it seems like this kind of gets overlooked, so that's why I'm walking back in here, and I'm seeing all this sign, all these trails, so it's looking promising right now. So I'm gonna keep making my way back to this creek bottom and see what I find. Well, I made it back here a little bit farther, and before it gets to the stream and the woods back there, there's two openings. I'm standing on technically the right one, and there's another one over there to the left, and there's a bunch of oaks surrounding this, and you got one loner out here which has an old scrape underneath it. That's a little oak tree. It's got a scrape underneath it. There's another old scrape back here in the woods on another small oak before it comes out into this little area here, and there's at least 3 different trails that I've seen coming out in here, and then it goes back into this woods here, like I said, where that stream is, that little bit of a bottom, and then it goes up into the ag fields. So this is what I found out here. Seeing a lot of good sign, lots of tracks on these trails, and a lot of them are fresh, and they're just beaten down, mowed down paths. So, and now, since when I was at the other spot doing the other video, didn't see any buck sign, didn't see any scrapes, didn't see any rubs. I found a couple old rubs, but nothing that makes you think, all right, we got bucks moving through here. There certainly may be, but there's not much good sign. There's a lot of good deer sign, but for the fact that I'm seeing all these trails so far absolutely mowed down, fresh tracks everywhere, and seeing 2 old scrapes from last year, definitely positive signs. So I'm excited to get back to the rest of this creek bottom back here and see what kind of sound we got going on back there. So I just walked maybe about 30 yards or so from that opening I was just in, and come back in here to where it looks like an old runoff that runs down through this patch of woods here, and another scrape. Turn around here. Another scrape right here by this tree, and then it's just absolutely mowed down right through here. Tons of tracks. Like I said, definitely looking really promising. The fact that that's now 3 scrapes within, I'd say about a 50 yards of each other, and all these deer tracks and trails just mowing down through here. So bucks are definitely feeling comfortable back in here. Definitely a lot more sign in here than I've seen in a couple other spots. So that's making me feel real good, and obviously making me feel good to the fact that this doesn't get much human activity back in here. So this might be just like one of them areas that they just can tuck back in, especially with that creek bottom back there. And it is thick, about the first 50 yards walking through the woods from that tall grass field out there. But once you kind of work your way through it and get back in here, it's still thick, but you can piece it through and, you know, follow some of the deer trails through here. And like I said, seeing a lot of great sign. So I'm hopefully going to find a spot here that I'll be able to hang up a camera and hopefully see some bucks that are hanging around back in here. So definitely going to keep pushing forward and see what else we see. So I followed this deer trail back where I last saw that last scrape and finally made it up here to the stream. And then you have the bottom back here. It got real thick that last 15 yards, 15-20 yards. Almost had to go on my hands and knees to get back in here. Ended up catching a deer trail, and it goes and crosses the stream right down here, and I can see where they go up at on the other side into this bottom. And this bottom, and even when I have been walking through this woods, is filled with oaks. There's lots of oaks in here, and some of them that I've looked up and have acorns on them. So definitely have a lot of food, and right now have a lot of native vegetation that I've seen that they've been browsing on back in here. So they definitely have what they need back here. Definitely thick for cover. They have the food, and I'm not entirely sure what's planted in those private ag fields back there, but I'm assuming at least one of those fields has to be corn, if not maybe most of them. I know the one up on top that's still part of public is another tall grass, but then it meets one of the private fields. I'll have to check that. I'll have to drive around and see what they're planted and just see what kind of food source is there around this area. But so far from what I've seen, this has been awesome deer sign, and like I was saying before, I think it proves to be that there hasn't been a lot of people hunting back in here, or just back in here in general. And the fact that it's butted up against a bunch of private fields, private land, and they have a big ag fields back there. I'm sure maybe people from those private areas may trickle over into the back side of this public, but I highly doubt it, seeing as the fact of all the deer sign in here. And I'll maybe have another, I don't know, definitely within 100 yards until I hit the line for public and private. So this just might be one of those hidey hole areas that they just are safe in. They have food all around them. They have the cover in here. They have water with the stream going through. So this definitely be a place I would like to check out. I think I'm going to throw up a camera up on one of them trails back there that I was on. And there's definitely a lot of trees to pick from and a lot of great cover that I could easily come in here with one of the saddles and set up for evening or morning hunt real quick. And I'm pretty sure I'd get on some deer in here. And this, with the sign being the way it is, this would be a great rut spot, I believe. You have, like I said, you have the private fields, you have the water, you have this thick bedding, which bucks would definitely be cruising and checking around. And if they're feeling safe back in here, they're definitely gonna be running around here. So this is definitely a good spot that I've seen, especially with seeing some of the old buck sign from last year and just flooded with tracks and trails. So like I said, definitely gonna set up a camera, see what's rolling back through here in the next few weeks or month before the season. Definitely thick back in here that definitely just come in here and make it easy and kind of hop around this area with the saddle, playing with all the trails and such, and see what the movement is. So we're gonna check back in this place here in a few weeks after I throw up this camera and see what's rolling around back in here, and still making those game plans for this coming season. Alright, so as I was heading out, found one of the trails that just has a pile of tracks on that another trail meets up, and then this one meets another trail which then leads out to a tall grass field in that I walked in on. So I ended up putting the camera facing this spot, this trail looked like the one that had the most amount of traffic on. So I'm gonna leave that there for a few weeks, come back and check it and see what kind of deer pictures we have on it. Hopefully we got some bucks. Obviously got a lot of doe tags, so I'm ready for that. So if there are a bunch of does back in here, I'm ready to smack a doe. Hopefully looking for a buck though, looking for a good buck. So stay tuned for more scouting videos, and we'll keep putting out more content here in the future, and stick with us and stay tuned.